Greetings and salutations, Internet Distance. It is I, Wolfphototech, and here we go with another awesome, super duper, ooper duper, quickie review, unboxing, overview, and review of Dungeons & Dragons 4th Edition Starter Set. This is the original Dungeons & Dragons 4th Edition Starter Set. This was produced for the original 4th Edition, not Essentials version. There's another review if you have missed that. For that one, and shoot over there if you want to watch that after this one. But this is for the original one. This box is a little beaten up. It is actually has nice artwork, very on color theme for Dungeons & Dragons 4th Edition. The other one basically was invoking the basic edition Dungeons & Dragons, which I don't know why they didn't go with basic Dungeons & Dragons 4th Edition for that one, but WotC is weird. Nice artwork all around. I do say one of the strengths of Dungeons & Dragons 4th Edition is it's very tactical and it has beautiful artwork. It has tons of artwork. I'm not joking. It's very well thought out in artwork and theming. However, there's a lot of issues. Yeah. This box is much like the Numenera box. If you want to read, or not read, but watch that video, go and watch that video after this one. But still, like my thoughts, I don't really care for this style of box. This is an open top, not a remove top, which means you cannot use this box as 2 roll trays, which is now a loss in points. In this box, there's this dumb piece of cardboard. I hate those. I hate those. Jesus Louises. Oopsie doopsie. You happen to have on the back of the box, there's what comes in the box. You happen to have a very beautiful selection of dice. I mean, beautiful selection of dice. For whatever reason, the 4th edition Dungeons & Dragons dice have always been nice to me. Far more than other editions. Yet again, however, I rolled terrible on that. Oh dear goodness. That's a 1. That's a 5. A 6, which is actually literally the one good roll out of there. A 1, 11 on the D20, and a 4 on the D10. For Pete's sake, I do not know what it is with my dice curse. I am truly cursed with dice. I need to go and watch. I need to make a rubber chicken's foot. I need to make a rubber chicken's foot. A really chicken's foot. But anyways, because the box doesn't separate like most starter sets, I can't put the lid off to the side and throw the dice or stuff into that. Inside this box, there's not terribly much. Oops. There is the sleeve which contained the dice at one point. They have broken free and running wild. Correct that. So that's just that. It's not a Ziploc bag or anything. It's just literally the cheapest thing possible. It's made in China. You have a 4th edition Quick Start Rules booklet, which goes over the basic mechanics of how to play the game. Telling you the concept of movement and your skills and your basic dwarven fighter, your skills and setup. You got your halfling rogue, your Eladrin wizard, your human cleric, and your dragonborn paladin right in here. All your basic skills from start. So if you wanted to, you could like literally take this to the printer, scan each one of these sheets, front and back. Scan the backside for the Dragonborn Paladin. Scan the front side for your Dragonborn Paladin. And boom. Right there, you are done. That's your character sheet. You got 2 sheets, all your information on it. You just tell your player to like put a marker or something, or put thing on top of the powers that he's using. Oh, good grief. There's no character sheets included in this sucker. It has a over 50 full color character and monster tokens, which are missing from this set. Actually, I know where those are. Oh, there. Never punched out. I have literally 2 boxes of boxes and gigantic bags of Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition tokens. It's amazing. But this basically doubles as your character sheets plus your instructions on how to play characters. You just have to go ahead and print that out. Right here is the Dungeon Master's book. It is actually immaculately organized as far as a book is concerned. However, it is a bit of a read and a lot of reading just to get to the basics. So, yeah, there's a lot of conditions in here. And then you go into your adventure. Boom. Right on page 16 is where page 15 is where the adventure starts. It goes quite a ways. You have a nice little section in the back of various monsters. Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition was amazing for its monster balance. You had very adjustable system where you could easily scale up monsters or down monsters to match any party dynamic. You could literally have a party of goblins. You can scale them up to level 20 or level 30, and you can have a group of goblins take on a party of 20 players, and it would still work. The goblins wouldn't be doing super awesome, but they would still give the party just enough of a trouble to be worth it. The mechanics in which the monsters operate on is exceedingly beautiful, and the artwork is immaculate for Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition or any Dungeons & Dragons edition. As I said, you have a really nice collection of artwork in there. You get also a really good collection of monsters and opponents in this book as well. As well as an advertisement for the Dungeons & Dragons Insider site. In here, there happens to be the dungeon tiles. If you happen to have seen my Dungeon Tiles Reincarnated series of videos, there happens to be 3 sets of dungeon tiles, which these tiles are duplicated into some of the sets, but not all these tiles. So some of these tiles do not reoccur in the Dungeons & Dragons Reincarnated set. However, some of them do. It's a mix. They reuse some of the designs. You got 3 of these tiles. They all snap out like snow. So you can rearrange these however you want on a battlefield to get your opponent into an area. You can add them to each other. You can construct larger areas. However, sadly, when they came to designing these, they kind of had the same theme on both sides, so you don't really get a whole lot of flexibility. It would be smarter if they did like a forest on one side and a dungeon on another. That way, when you go from forest into dungeon, you could use all your dungeon tiles and you could use all your forest tiles outside. But this is mostly dungeon tiles, with a small outside aid section for your characters to adventure through. The closest thing to a dungeon forest section is literally this tile right here. So this is pretty much all dungeon. By the way, if you ever see these dungeon tiles and you see those triangles, that's the symbol for hazardous or difficult terrain. Specifically difficult terrain. So when your characters are running through that area and they happen to run to those triangles, difficult terrain. So here's the monster tokens. There's 2 different sets of monster tokens on both sides. You see down here, you got this gelatinous ooze. You got your warg, your scary horse. I had a brain fart there. You got your black dragon, your white dragon, and your guard drake. You got some goblins, skeletons, orcs. You have your characters down this side. And on this side, you have more characters. The same characters, but different color rings. And the ring is probably signifying that that's above 50% health, the gold ring. And the red ring is below 50% health. In Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition, there is this concept called Bloodied. It is actually one of those most beautiful concepts from Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition. Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition actually has a numerous amount of amazing concepts that would be just awesome if it wasn't for the fact that Wizards of the Coast, for whatever strange-ass reason, screwed up the usage of wording in the books to make it seem less like a fun adventure and more like an instruction set for building a IKEA furniture. That is like the other big problem with Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition, is that the instructions or the books are less game world colorful language, and they're more like building an IKEA furniture set, which is sad. This Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition set, as I said, comes with a basic set of dice, a Dungeon Master's book, a 4th edition quick start book that doubles as your character sheets. You got some tiles, which is nice to come in with a set. Seriously. The reason why the tiles and the tokens is because Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition is a more tactical system, and not having the tiles and tokens really brings down the system, because the area of effects of spells and ranges are very important in 4th edition. That's why I suggested a good alternate name would be D&D Tactics. As a starter set, this is actually overall a really good starter set. I really dislike the style of box and the fact that they have cardboard in the box as well. But the dungeon tiles, the tokens, bring the score up. The type of box brings score down. You got your basic set of dice, which it would be nicer if they gave you more dice, but it would be nicer if they gave you a bigger adventure in the book. More adventure, more fun. They give you just the basics for running your characters. It's actually pretty quick through to the point as far as this book is concerned. This book is only 16 pages. The quick start rules. So this is actually one of those strange cases where it's like stuff knocks it down, stuff adds it up, and it all washes out in that 3.5 territory, 3.75 territory star territory. This is literally, as far as the original Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition, a absolute must for starting your Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition, because this does an exceedingly good job of getting you to the start point at a reasonable price, if you can find it at a reasonable price. The original price for this US is $16.99, which is a steal for the set. You get dungeon tiles and you get tokens with the set, as well as a basic adventure and 4 characters. So that is quite nice, a starting point for such a set. If the box wasn't the box the way it is, it didn't come with extra cardboard. This was a Ziploc bag. You had a Game Master screen in there. You had the adventure be a little bit longer. And that's about it. Yeah. The box is actually quite simple in itself, but very on point. The artwork is nice. It's in that good for Dungeons and Dragons starter sets. So there you go. This is actually better than a good portion of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition starter sets as far as score is concerned. This is on the Dungeons & Dragons scoring scale. If it was compared against other starter sets for other systems, this would still be one of the stronger starter sets, along with the Essential set and Rick and Morty versus Dungeons & Dragons, or Dungeons & Dragons versus Rick and Morty. However, it is just a few ticks away from being a whole lot better. So, I like the fact that it comes with tokens. Yet again, the reason why you wonder if I have all these tokens are still in this sheet is that I literally have 2 big-ass boxes of tokens already. And I don't need to punch out more tokens. Because once you punch out the tokens, they make messes. In fact, give me 1 second. And I'll pull out one of my boxes of Dungeons & Dragons 4th edition tokens. Yes, indeed. And you have to wonder why I have it so easily out, because there's a few important things. These are tokens for large creatures. I'm just going to show you these quickly. Large, huge creatures. Gigantic as well. They're flippable. So you got before and after. And weirdly enough, some of them do not have... See, you flip it over and it just has a name of the creature on the back side. And the reason why I have these tokens out so easily to access, entire Ziploc bag, overflowing in tokens. And the box is literally, I cannot close the box. There's too many tokens in the box. Box full of tokens. Nothing but tokens. Nothing but tokens. There's also hazardous floors in here. I have tokens of the tokens. Yes, indeed. Oh my goodness. I got tokens everywhere. I literally had a token roll onto the floor and escape. And in the very back of this box, there's actually maps. So I have an adventure for Dungeons & Dragons Essentials, and maps, and maps, and maps, and maps, and more tokens, because I can't fit them all in the box within all the Ziplocs. But anyways, I have lots and lots of tokens, and tokens are awesome. So, yeah, I just had to pull out the token pile. I just had to pull out the token pile. 1 bag, plus miscellaneous tokens. 2 bags, 3 bags, 4 bags. This is action tokens, action point tokens. 5 bags, 6 bags. 7 bags, 8 bags, hazardous to train, and then I got my big boys in this bag, and it's like, oh dear goodness, oh yeah, I didn't have that bag in there because it would not close with the bags. So anyways, this box literally will not close because I got too many tokens. I still have a bag of tokens. That's not even all the tokens I have, because one of them rolled on the floor. Goblin. Goblin rolled on floor. My log goblin token. So yeah. That's the Monster Vault box. I'm not going to make a video dedicated to the Monster Vault box because it's such a mess. But anyways, thank you very much for watching this slightly longer than usual video for this. I'm trying to make these videos quicker and snappier. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a delightful day, a nice night, a wonderful week, and a magnificent month, and see you next time.